The Lightning Arrow Deadeye is shaping up to be one of the most powerful builds you can play in Path of Exile 2's second major update, the Third Edict. So in this video we've teamed up with one of our creators, Eravin, to go over his crit Lightning Arrow setup in 0.3. This build has some absolutely insane damage, very high mobility, and it can melt through bosses like butter, but now it also has solid survivability too, with the buffs to evasion and with the addition of deflection. Throughout the campaign, it's a pretty comfortable leveling experience overall, but then it really unlocks its potential when the roam out comes online in the interludes, turning the rest of the campaign and the endgame into a breeze with its unmatched mobility and clear speed potential. So if you want a build that's powerful from the beach all the way into the endgame, disintegrating even the most difficult pinnacle bosses in under 10 seconds, then you need to give it a try. So the bread and butter combo of this build is simple but effective. Lightning rods stack up to 20 times in the field and lightning arrows chain to them, detonating whatever is standing on top of them. Whether that be big packs of enemies or bosses, it makes short work of anything. You may be thinking that sometimes it'd be difficult to keep a boss still for long enough to stack up all those rods, but that's why we have the newly buffed electrocuting arrow to hold them down with a 5-second stun, opening up massive DPS windows against even the quickest of boss encounters. Herald of Thunder is also one of the best wave clearing tools in the game so far, and this build utilizes it so well. Early on, it might just feel like a few extra bolts of lightning, but once you level it up and improve its quality, you really start to see those sparks fly. Each individual lightning rod implanted into the ground counts as an attack, and it can proc Herald of Thunder, meaning firing one lightning rod and one arrow at a rare results in them not only taking damage from all the rods and the arrow, but also all the procs we had chambered from the Herald of Thunder. Voltaic marks are also fantastic in the campaign and early endgame in this build, as it just provides some extra AoE clear and shock chance and magnitude against rares. With the mana cost now being significantly lower than it was in the previous league, you'll want to use this regularly. When you do get your hands on the row amount, this is when you can genuinely speed through the end of the campaign extremely quickly, as it cancels 80% of the movement penalty on Lightning Arrow and Rod, Electrocuting Arrow, and Voltaic Mark. Just be careful getting stunned though, as this will have you heavy stun for 3 seconds and disable your evasion. Barrage has a much lower cooldown than it did in the last league, and as our attack speed is likely going to be abysmal for most of the campaign, this ability allows us to instantly spill out a triple cast of Lightning Rod under bosses when they move around, and instantly on new packs of mobs we come into contact with for some seriously high burst damage. Use this ability regularly, and if you already have a Lightning Rod deployed when the cooldown comes up, fire off a triple cast of arrows instead. If the pack is extremely weak, you can instantly pop it by casting a Voltaic Mark, Barrage, and Lightning Arrow combo. For items during the campaign, the only thing that really matters is how much flat damage your bow has, as our total damage stems from the flats we managed to string together. Therefore, any bows with good flat physical lightning, cold, or fire damage rolls are going to do the most for us here. Use a dual string bow if you happen to get a good one, as the extra arrow multiplies our lightning rod DPS and improves our clear speed. Once you get to the endgame, trade up that bow for some critical stats and start blowing up everything in your way in just one lightning arrow apiece. So yes, with this setup, our goal is to progress into a heavy crit build. However, this requires currency and stats we simply don't have access to in the campaign. So this tree is aimed to get you to the endgame nice and smoothly. Honed Instincts into Vile Wounds, then Primal Sundering, Catalysis, Maiming Strike, Acceleration, and Combing Calamity will get your early damage online. Then we get some survivability with Evasion and Deflection to keep us upright through the harder hitting parts of the campaign, with the Wildcat, Bestial Skin, and Enhanced Reflexes, followed by more damage and Alpha Strike damage with Falcon Technique, First Approach, and Kite Runner. Before then finishing off our leveling build with some pen using Surging Currents, Storm Surge, and Unbound Forces, then finally grabbing Escape Velocity at level 70. Take Wrapped Quiver and Master Fletching when you get a solid quiver with extra damage, and after getting some projectile speed online, take Feathered Fletchling. And don't forget to grab Inspiring Ally once you've got your row amount on the go. In the early endgame, we can start to scale into our crit build, and it'll be ideal for you to at least have a bow with a high base crit prefix to maximize the benefits. Take Cooked, then Heartbreaking, Struck Through, Heart Stopping, True Strike, For the Jugular, and Deadly Force. which should all take you through from around level 70 to level 90 before you do find yourself in the true endgame. For Ascendancy, you'll of course want to become a Deadeye and take Gathering Winds for the powerful Tailwind buff, which provides you with stacking evasion, movement speed and multiplicative skill speed, which only fades if you take a hit, and thanks to our high mobility and evasion, it shouldn't happen too often. For the second Ascendancy, take Projectile Proximity spec and lock in Point Blank for a 20% multiplicative damage bonus at close range. Then we can take Endless Munitions, adding an extra projectile to all of our attacks, but more importantly, Lightning Rod allows us to ramp up our damage even faster against bosses, and clear quicker with the extra arrow. For the fourth Ascendancy, we can take Wind Ward, which gives us 30% damage mitigation at max Tailwind stacks, which makes us even harder to one-shot. If you do want to dive even further into the endgame setup for the passive tree and key notables, you can click the link in the description and check out Eravin's explanations there, to give you the best chance of really fulfilling this build's potential. Overall, this build has one of the best mapping clear speeds in the game. It can finish all pinnacle content and has an engaging boss rotation that can take out bosses in surprising speeds. It's a little bit squishy in the early game and does require use of your mana flask and learning those combos, but when you get the hang of it, you'll be zipping and zapping and blasting your way through all your content and having a great time whilst doing it. If you do want to see this build in action live, then head to twitch.tv/Eravin or head to his YouTube channel. You can find all his links in the description below, including the full build breakdown over on our website. Thank you all for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.